It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Gosh, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's LAR.
We have an LAR trade to announce. Alex Clark is now a Mets fan. Mathias Altman-Kurosaki is now a Mariners fan. Congratulations. This is a bit of a one-sided trade. So Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, Nico Harrison, Shams, we have the better trade. We're trading one superstar for another superstar. Bang.
Let's go, Brandon Nimmo. I mean, Pete Alonso, man, he's always going to be here. He's always going to stay right back here. OMG, right, guys?
Oh, yeah. Julio Rodriguez, MVP.
Some of these things may or may not happen, I'll be honest. Anyways, we are Lost Above Replacement. I am Ryan Splashpots, obviously the Braves fan of the group. We are joined, as always, or as usually, with Alex and Mac. How are we doing, fellas?
I mean, I just got traded, so now I'm like, I got to be in Queens. So, you know, maybe a little warmer than here, but that's not saying much.
I don't know
we've been snowed in here.
Oh, well, we don't have snow. It's just cold, and yeah, that's all I got.
I mean, at least cold is drivable.
Yeah, except we have congestion pricing. So
I mean, we do. It's just a mess. But honestly, I'm doing pretty good. I'll explain a little bit more when we get to the moment to ourselves. But honestly, it's been a very interesting last week here at the Clark household.
Yeah, I am home by myself until the end of the month. So it is me and my cats. And I think they're happy with me right now. I mean, I fed them. I'm feeding them. I'm entertaining them, I guess. Like, yeah, it's interesting. This is the longest stretch I've ever been in charge of them. So, yeah, I have them until the end of the month, and then my parents will come home from Japan. But doing all right. The internet was down technically is still down. Shout out Verizon Fios for having an outage in New York City today. So, yeah.
You said that you're home alone, right? Watching the cats?
Yes.
All right, everyone, his address is...
Dang it!
Exactly. Come through.
One day when we have an LAR PO box, we should get like Dinger's Avenue or something.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Ding Dong Avenue? No.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like 762 Ding Dong Avenue or...
Hey, that rhymes. I like it.
It does, yeah.
It does?
762 Ding Dong Avenue.
It does. Okay. Genius.
Guys, please do not trademark this. It's ours.
Yes. Hashtag Pat Riley.
Hashtag Pat McAfee.
No. You guys know that Pat Riley trademarked a bunch of terms surrounding three-peat, right?
I did
Actually,
not
I knew that, yeah.
Yeah, because the Heat famously did not complete the three-peat, but that's a Heat problem. One other Heat problem, it's getting a little hot in the shortstop room because there's so many good shortstops, and today our task is to rank them from 5 to 1. I'm sorry, Orlando Arcia. We are not ranking from 30 to 1, my friend. Here's the graphic ranking the shortstops. Mac, Alex, Splash, all the teams are there. All the glorious shortstops are there. Mookie Betts may or may not be here. The Dodgers are counting him as a shortstop for some reason, but I don't know, man. My throat is cooperating certainly today. Beautiful. Regardless, it's time to rank our shortstops. Who would like to begin with number 5?
I'll start.
Alex, please give us
so number 5. I'm up here. I got Mookie at 5. And here's the reason why. Listen before we get too much farther. I love Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, if you put a list of the top 10 players in baseball, he's probably on that list right now. He's close to that list. He's number 5 in shortstops because I don't think he's a shortstop. I legitimately, you go back to last year, right? Yes, he played most of his games at short, but that I think was just more of a trial than anything, and they moved it back to the outfield. So don't get me wrong, he's a good defensive shortstop, but I'm not gonna say that he is the best overall. And I have him at number 5. Basically, I feel like as a technicality, right? Because legitimately, if he is an everyday shortstop, and he is going to be the everyday shortstop, he's competing for number 1, 2, or 3, potentially higher than that. It's like higher than 3, so probably 1 or 2. But at this moment right now, I don't know if he's a shortstop. He's played a good bit of shortstop, yeah, but I have a feeling they're going to do the exact same thing as they did last year, and they're going to move it back to the outfield. So I don't feel comfortable putting him any higher than that.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, honestly. That's the thing is, Mookie is on my list. He's not my number 5, but it's tough because I think that, like you're saying, I'm not convinced he's a shortstop. He's a great athlete. Don't get me wrong. And I appreciate that he's willing to do whatever the Dodgers ask him to do. But long term, no, he should probably be an outfielder or a second baseman. But
keep being right field.
I will say I do have a couple of honorable mentions. Trey Turner is not on my list. He is a good player. Don't get me wrong, but his defense is definitely going down. His offense is still solid, but I don't think it's enough necessarily to be a top 5 shortstop anymore. And my first one off, I really wanted to put this guy in my top 5, but Elly De La Cruz is my first one off. Here's the thing with Elly is that he's a really exciting player. I love watching him play the game. He had a great season in 2024, showed a lot of growth. He really improved at shortstop. I really was not convinced he was a shortstop long term, but 15 outs above average. He did lead the majors in errors, but you're a shortstop. It happens. But my concern with him is he led the majors in strikeouts too. So while he did lead the majors in steals, 218 strikeouts is concerning. Still has a strikeout rate over 30%, still has a whiff rate around 33%. So those are the reasons why I kept him off. If he does what he did this year, puts up another 6-win season, then he can be top 5. But for now, I'm going with a guy who's consistently been great at shortstop for a while. At number 5, I have Corey Seager. Seager was he's doing this weird thing, kind of like the Red Sox did in 2010s, where he was number 5 entering 2023. Then he was number 1, and now he's number 5 again. It's not because he played poorly or anything. He still hit, he still had a 4.5 Fangraphs score in 123 games, still hit 30 homers for the 3rd straight year. But he's not an excellent defensive shortstop, and I apologize for the siren. Remember, I live in New York City, so you hear that a lot. But anyway, he hit 30 homers for the 3rd straight year. And despite his BABIP dipping below 300 again, still a 140 WRC plus. Sure, it's not the 170 he put up the year before, and he wasn't 1 percentage point shy of the batting title like he was in 2023 or runner-up at MVP voting. But this is a guy who I think can be top 10 MVP voting perennially. And I think what might get lost on people is that he's only turning 31 this April. So as long as he stays healthy, we're looking at a guy who could be a Hall of Famer going forward. He's an offensive machine. His defense, sure, it's not fantastic, but when you hit the way he does, you don't necessarily have to be a Gold Glover. So Seager's number 5, and it's just tough because there's a lot of young players and a lot of great players at shortstop. So I'm not sure if he'll go up, but he could.
I mean, here's my thing, right? Like, I'll say this right now. I don't have Corey on my list. I do not at all. But I will say that, Kyle Seager's brother is a very good shortstop here, but he's also not the best Seager. Sorry.
Some interesting takes.
Interesting, yep.
So, Mac, you brought up some young shortstops. I'm going to rifle through. Elly De La Cruz, not on my list. Zach Neto, the best hitting shortstop against left-handed pitching last season.
I wanted to put Neto close.
Did you know that? He's awesome. CJ Abrams, he's nice. Ezekiel Tovar, he's cool. He strikes out a lot. He's cool.
Great defender.
Yeah, excellent defender. Maybe Nacho Alvarez cracks this list one day. I don't even know if he's going to play shortstop at the major league level. But my number 5, in agreement with Mac, is Corey Seager, Kyle's brother, the World Series MVP from 2023. Just another, yes, 2-time World Series MVP, Corey Seager. Just another great season at the dish, 145 OPS plus, slugged over 500. That's tough to do as a shortstop. He doesn't bring a lot of the traditional shortstop value. He's not very good defensively, would probably better playing third. You could make the argument Texas's defense would be better if Semien played shortstop and Seager played second base, but that's neither here nor there. He doesn't steal many bases. He only stole 1. Everyone else on the list stole double digits. But he had 5 WAR in 123 games. Health continues to be a question. He likes to miss a month. He likes to miss like a big chunk of the season. And it's tough in this group with everyday players. Like one of these guys, like you have to like pull him out of the lineup for him not to play. Another guy played 161 games last year. It's just a tough situation to be in when I only trust you to play 120 games or 130 games. So Corey Seager's my number 5. and I'll get right into my number 4 because it gets really spicy really fast because I have a 9 WAR player at number 4, and that's Gunnar Henderson of the Baltimore Orioles. I think in a perfect world, he'd play third, although he did make tremendous strides at shortstop. He was plus 3 DRS last season. Gunnar, really good base runner, 37 homers, 21 steals, 31 doubles as well, had a 159 OPS plus. And had he been in the National League, you could argue he could have won MVP over Ohtani. That's a pretty losing argument. But I think you have a reasonable argument that he would be second over a certain shortstop that's coming up later on all of our lists. But yeah, Gunnar can do it all. And again, in a perfect world, he's probably the third baseman, and Jackson Holliday's the shortstop, and Jordan Westbrook's at second. But for now, it'll be Westbrook at third, Henderson at short, and Holliday at second. Orioles, we don't know how they're going to work on that moving forward, but Gunnar had a nice season. He led out of the group, led all of them in plate appearances and home runs. So Gunnar's my number 4. Let me add that to the graphic.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with my number 4. I have Mookie Betts at number 4. It's tough because if he had played a full season at shortstop, I mean, who knows where he could go. I feel like he could have, if he played a full season and balled out, he could have been anywhere from number 1 to number 4. But like I said earlier, my main concern with him is he going to play shortstop going forward? Because frankly, he's not the best defensive shortstop. All right. He was -3 outs above average. Also, his arm strength went down. This is a guy who I thought when he played right field, at least had one of the best arms in the game. I felt like he was sort of tentative at shortstop. I think though, he's still a very, very good player. Yes, his power numbers definitely took a dip. And that's a little concerning, but still 19 homers, 75 RBIs, 16 steals, a 141 WRC plus. So more in line with his career average of 140. I mean, he's just an all-around great player. He's a great athlete. So maybe over the course of a full season, he adjusts well and starts playing better shortstop. But again, he's going to be 32 this season. We said Seager might be a Hall of Famer. I think Mookie Betts is a Hall of Famer. There's no debating it. So yeah, Betts just a good all-around player. He checks all the boxes. He's at number 4. We'll see how he does if he does play a full season at shortstop. I'm very curious about that.
If there's like a Hall of Fame for just athletes, not just like, baseball, that for just people who are pure athletes, Mookie Betts is in that Hall of Fame as well.
He's a high quality bowler.
Yeah, I was about to bring up his bowling too. Like the dude's bowled multiple perfect games. I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
All right. So I'm going to get into my number 4 here. And for number 4, I have Ellie. I think that Ellie De La Cruz is one of the most exciting players in the game of baseball right now. Watching him play the game electrifies an entire stadium. And the biggest question we had for him going into 2024 season was, could he be consistent? Could he reach the numbers that we thought that he could, but while also trying to limit some of the other mistakes? Well, he's still having some of the mistakes. Again, we talked about errors and all that. But what has he also done? Well, he also had a +5 WAR season. He stole 67 bases, flashed the power, flashed the leather, flashed everything you needed here for him to have a solid season. And now he is, in my opinion, I understand why you wouldn't have him on the list because of the obvious downsides. But man, this dude is already good, and I think he's only going to get better. Like, the speed is already, once he gets a little bit more experience as well, that stolen base number could go even higher up. The errors are going to go down once he starts figuring out how to play the position a little bit more. Like, I'm so excited to see what Ellie is going to do going forward, especially since he is that rare combination of power and speed that is, like, at every part of it is, like, at exceptionally high levels. Like, having 125 power, 99 speed here. Is it going to be always consistent? Absolutely not. You can't, like, try to ask that of any player is impossible. But Ellie has the ability to potentially be there. And watching how he plays the game, he lifts everyone else up because he gets people going. In MLB Power Pros, we have an ability for this. It's called Spark Plug.
You know, like I said earlier, I had a lot of questions coming into the season of what can Ellie De La Cruz do in a full season, because he really did struggle in his rookie year, 2023. But we saw what he has the potential to do this year. And I think if he can raise that OPS plus from 119 to like 130 or so, he will be elite. And I think he proved this year, you know, he can be a 5-tool player if he figures out how to make contact more consistently. Because I think he really proved this year that he can be a shortstop, not just a third baseman. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 3 then. I have Gunnar Henderson at number 3. And really, these top 3 players, I mean, it's like a 1A, 1B, 1C type of deal because all 3 of them were fantastic in 2024. Gunnar Henderson, like you said, splashed 9 wins on Baseball Reference, 8 wins on Fangraphs, 37 home runs, a 155 WRC plus. For a shortstop, that's, I mean, you don't see that very often, except there is someone else on this list who actually exceeded that last year. But his strikeout rate went down. His walk rate went up. He hits the tar out of the ball. His hard hit rate, his hard hit rate went up. His average exit velocity went up. Just a lot to like about Gunnar Henderson. His defense, he's not necessarily a Gold Glover at shortstop, but I mean, he was average. 0 outs above average is fine. He stole 21 bases. Maybe we could see that go up. It depends on if he's batting leadoff or not this coming year, but all around, Gunnar Henderson, he's a lot of red on his baseball savant page for a reason. And he's only 23. I mean, not much bad to say about Gunnar Henderson. His power did decrease a little bit in the second half, but I think he's excellent. So he's number 3. It was a conversation though that I had about putting him at 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'll be fully honest here. Like, every single one of the top 3 that I have here, I was really going back between all. It feels like you're shuffling a deck of cards, seeing who's going to come out on top. And I did make my decision. Who's the top? You'll see that in a little bit. Obviously, J.P. Crawford is Seattle Mariners, but no, my number 3 is also Gunnar. I think that Gunnar is such an impressive player. Right? You talk about what you were expecting to see from the kid. Right? In 2022, when he finally made his debut, you're like, okay, what's going to happen here? He only plays about 34 games. Here, the next year, like, okay, you got a full year. What can you do? Well, he can win the Rookie of the Year. You can get a Silver Slugger and receive MVP votes. How do you follow that up in the year of our Lord 2024? Well, we got getting your first All-Star nod and getting even more MVP votes. This dude is on another level. He plays the game in such a fun way as well. When you get, I want to make sure I'm very clear on something here for a sec. WAR is a very interesting stat because it does take into account your position. And it's harder to get WAR as an outfielder just because there are so many more outfielders. At shortstop, it's a little easier to get higher numbers, but that does not demoralize him in any way, shape, or form. Considering especially with how good you have to be able to man that position. When you have a season that's 9.1 WAR, Baseball Reference WAR, think about that in the scope of things. You have a 162 season, that's nearly like a 16th of the season that you are winning because of you. That is impressive. And we may be talking about another one in here in just a minute. But no, for Gunnar Henderson, this is why I think the Orioles are going to be such a threat going forward, even with some of the mistakes that are going on. When you've got guys like Gunnar Henderson, Colton Cowser, Adley Rutschman, and let's see, another third baseman, another player. What was it? Jackson Holiday. You have such an incredible core that are all coming through here. So yeah, the Orioles are going to be interesting going forward, and Gunnar Henderson is a big reason why.
All right, I'm going to hop over to my number 3. I do have 2 notes. Number 1, I'm not moved by Ellie's errors. Hot take. He just gets to more balls than the average shortstop would. You can look at his outs above average. You can look at his defensive runs saved. Those will trend in the positive direction. This is just a case of Lewis Hamilton, Formula One racer, has been in more car accidents than I have. Why? He drives a lot more than I do. So sometimes the errors just happen because you get to balls that Gunnar Henderson might not get to, or Mookie Betts might not get to, or Francisco Lindor might not get to. But anyways, and my other point, I think the top 6 is largely interchangeable. You could tell me that Ellie De La Cruz is the most talented player in baseball.
Agree, yeah.
Sure, whatever. Do I agree with you? Actually, yeah, sure. When we do our Power Pros cards, he's going to be like absurd. It's going to be like A power, A speed, probably F contact, A arm strength, B fielding. Like it could be truly absurd. But my number 3, this is a coin flip of all coin flips. I'm going to go with Francisco Lindor staying hold at the number 3 spot. 6.9 WAR, very nice. 138 OPS plus, second in NL MVP voting. Really a huge boost to the Mets. A big reason why they, rebounded from their 0-5 start and were 10 games behind the Braves and ended up tying the Braves on the last day of the season, forcing game 161 and game 162. Still a terrific defender. Such a terrific defender that there are no questions if Lindor is going to stay at shortstop. You'd think a lot of shortstops, when they get to 30, it becomes that decision point. If you're a good enough hitter, you can move to third, or you can move to the outfield, or you can move to second. You can move elsewhere on the diamond, or you become more of a utility piece. Lindor is obviously a good enough hitter that he could play third, or he could play second, or he could play anywhere, but he's an awesome shortstop still. It's just unfortunate that like Dansby Swanson exists to vacuum up all the Gold Gloves now that he's on the Chicago freaking Cubs. But regardless, Lindor, really good hitter, excellent fielder, great base runner. Kind of got robbed of a 30-30 season, only finished with 29 steals. And just incredibly toolsy player. Somehow has not been an all-star as a New York Met, which I know Mac has.
Yeah, that's nonsense, man.
Which Mac has obviously questioned the legitimacy of.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go into my number 2 as well here, and I have Marcus Lynn Betts. When you are ranking baseball players, I think Mookie Betts deserves to be higher than Francisco Lindor. In terms of pure ability at the shortstop position, I think Lindor is a superior defender. I think Betts is a good enough defender that his marginal advantage in terms of his offensive production. Last year he had a 145 OPS plus. Lindor was a 138 OPS plus. Betts had a 899 OPS before he got hurt in the middle of June. And was 811 after he came back. Had a monster playoff run, 4 homers, 5 doubles, a 950 OPS. Now, shout out Lindor. He went bananas in the playoffs in his own right. And he hit a ball in game 161, and that's all I'm going to talk about beyond that. So, obviously, clutch players, winners. Betts, of course, won his 3rd World Series ring this season. But I'll take Betts if we're implying that this is like a list of our ranking MLB players. I would have Betts over Lindor on my overall list. It's a little goofy when you think shortstop, and Betts does provide some additional value that he can play shortstop, he can play second base, he can play in the outfield, and to quote Alex, if you ask him nicely, he could probably catch for you. Lindor is a superior defensive shortstop. I think there is some value missing in WAR, for example, of the Ben Zobrist effect or the Tony Phillips effect for those of an older ilk. So Lindor at 3, Betts at 2 for me.
Yeah, so
I completely understand exactly where you're coming from on this. And that's honestly the only reason why I have Betts as low as I did. Like I said, my reasoning was that I don't know if he's going to play shortstop. We know that he can play shortstop. I just don't know if he's going to play shortstop. Just like I know that he can play second base. Don't know if he's going to play second base. I know he can play the outfield, but I don't know if he's going to play the outfield. I feel like it's hard to let me finish on this real quick. Is that it's hard to knock someone down for having good versatility, but when you are ranking a player based on a position, that does make it harder here a little bit.
Okay, I think that's fair to a certain extent. But I do think part of his value is his ability to, play multiple positions, and I wish WAR could capture that, because
I wish to, because
that saves a roster spot. That's say a DH only player. We'll say Ozuna, Marcel, great hitter, but him only being able to DH kind of handicaps the Braves in some ways. Ronald Acuna has to play the field, right? Matt Olson doesn't get a day off at first base. Austin Riley doesn't get a day off at third base. Sean Murphy has to catch. Drake Baldwin, who's going to be the next hot prospect, has to catch, right? Mookie can play short. He can play second. He can play center. He can play right, and obviously Lindor has tremendous value being able to play shortstop, so you don't have to move him anywhere. But that versatility adds something to the Dodgers, and I know it's the Ohtani effect. I understand that, but having Marcus Lynn Betts is another reason that you can bring in Tommy Edman, who's another similar player in that he can play multiple positions. He can play in the middle infield. He can play in the outfield. They had Cody Bellinger for years. He can play first base. He can play the outfield. And it allows you to platoon Jason Hayward in recent years, that you can have Hayward bat against righties and play right field at an elite level, and have Betts in the infield. And then when you're playing a lefty, who Betts kind of struggles against lefties, not going to lie, but you can put Betts in the outfield and have a right-handed hitting infielder, I believe Miguel Rojas is a righty. He can play shortstop. He's an excellent defensive shortstop. So you can just move these pieces around. And of course, Lindor is a switch hitter, so that's another value. So it's a tough conversation.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I went back and forth on this, because I was trying to figure out where I should put Mookie on my list, because like you were saying, as an overall baseball player, he's one of the best in the game. I mean, I don't know if people would still put him in the top 10 in the league, but this is a weird instance where my list doesn't necessarily correspond with how I would rank them, A, on fantasy rankings, or B, in an overall top 100, like what MLB Network does. So I'll just go ahead and say this. I have Lindor at number 2. This is sort of like how there was a period of time where Jacob deGrom was ranked as the best pitcher in baseball, but for some reason Garrett Cole was ranked ahead of him in the top 100. It didn't make any sense, but here it kind of does make sense that Betts is probably the better overall player. Straight up, as a shortstop, I'm picking Lindor. 16 outs above average. Even when he struggled his first year, his glove was still great. I can't believe he still wasn't even a finalist this year for a Gold Glove award. He still hasn't made an All-Star game, which blows my mind, because I mean, he was a 4-time All-Star in Cleveland, but you would think, he's won 2 Silver Sluggers now. He was second in MVP voting this year. You'd think one of these years he would be. He's been all MLB second team twice now. You'd think one of these years he would have been an all-star. He still hasn't been, but this dude, when he became the leadoff hitter, he was one of the best players in baseball from that point on. And even with that slow start, he had 7.8 Fangraphs WAR. Like I said earlier, still great with the glove. His strikeout rate actually went down this year, a career high 137 WRC plus. If it weren't for that back injury late in the season, he probably would have had another 30-30 season. Still 33 homers. That's his highest since he hit 38 in 2018. So a juice ball year. 29 steals, only caught 4 times. 273 average. I mean, this is a guy who he's not necessarily known for being an average hitter, but he hit 273. That's pretty good. He slugged 500. And I wish that back injury didn't happen, but at least it healed in time for the playoffs because that dude was just amazing. Hit that grand slam in Game 4 against the Phillies. Hit a home run in Game 2 to kickstart the offense against the Dodgers. He basically did whatever the team asked him to do. Felt like he was always coming up big. I was really hoping this was the year I get to put him number 1. I can't put him over who I have at number 1. I wish I could, but Lindor, one of my favorite players in baseball. I'm blessed to be able to watch him for 162 games.
So, Splash, one thing I do want to say real quick before I get to my number 2, going kind of back to the Mookie Betts bit here, the argument that you brought up there is the same reason why I say that Shohei Ohtani is the best player in baseball, and bar none, because at this point, like, he saves that roster spot by being a pitcher and a hitter here, and Mookie Betts is very similar in that regard because you can put him anywhere you want and you know he is going to succeed. And it's beautiful to watch. I love, like, Mookie Betts should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, like, when it's all said and done. So now we're going to go to my number 2, and I find it really funny, the intro that we had here, that we traded me to be a Mets fan and Mac to be a Mariners fan, because I have Bobby Witt at number 2 and Lindor at number 1. So let me explain. Let me please explain first before I get too much further. I'm going to say right now, ability-wise, probably Bobby Witt is better. Looking at what he has done in the short time that he has been in Major League Baseball has been nothing short of absolutely incredible. Right now, this dude, over his career, a very short career, mind you, so far. Here's that started in 2022. An OPS plus of 131. 2024, an incredible OPS plus of 171 and 9.4 WAR. What more do you want out of this guy? Bobby Witt is one of the most impressive players in the game of baseball today. Why do I not have him at number 1? Like I said, you basically are kind of working with 1A, 1B, 1C here. But I put Lindor over Bobby Witt for one reason and one reason only: experience. We have seen a lot more of Lindor than we have of Bobby Witt. I trust Lindor a little bit more in these situations because he's been there. Because of that, like, I have no questions about what I am going to get from Lindor. Lindor, I'm going to get a consummate professional, switch hitting bat, plays incredible shortstop, hits the ball like a 2-ton truck, and can still play the game of baseball in an incredible way. It is incredibly possible that by the halfway point of this season, I'm retracting my statement and putting Bobby Witt at number 1. It is very, very possible, and honestly probably pretty likely, that by the end of 2024, I will say in 2025, that in 2026's list, I will have Witt at number 1. But in my good conscience, right, looking at how I like to evaluate players, experience is something that cannot be taught, right? Experience is something that is gained through the trials and tribulations of playing baseball. Bobby Witt is an incredible ball player, is, in my opinion, ability-wise, he's right up there with guys like Betts. He's right up there with guys like Judge. I would even say that he has the ability to get to those levels. But right now, going into his 3rd full season or 4th full season? Yeah, 4th, thank you. I love what I've seen from him. He is, in a lot of ways, the best shortstop. But I look at Lindor, and I say that I have no questions, no notes. Lindor is the best.
So, yeah, I'll just put it here is that I did consider that heavily. That Lindor has been around for. I mean, it's crazy to say this. That was his 10th big league season.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't believe it, he's technically eligible for the Hall of Fame if he didn't play another game. Splash. That's very funny on the graphic. Anyway.
Good job. Make sure to check out the YouTube VOD in order to make sure that you can see what jokes Splash was made, because we're not going to say it.
Yeah.
Anyway, make sure
Anyway,
it's at losses above replacement on YouTube.
Yeah. So I really wanted to put Lindor number one. I have Bobby Witt Jr. Like you were saying, Lindor does have the experience. Like I just said, 10 big league seasons. But I can't look past the 10.4 Fangraphs wins above replacement. I mean, that's how many times do you see that? That's the thing. It just doesn't happen very often. It's crazy that he put up a 10.4 F4 and didn't even lead the American League. Didn't even win MVP. But he won the batting title across both leagues, 332 average. He had a 168 WRC plus, led the majors in hits. He, 30-30 season. He won a Gold Glove. He won a Silver Slugger. Basically any other season, probably, he would have won MVP. It's just what Aaron Judge did was that ridiculous. And there is a very, very strong argument that Witt, for what he's done to the Royals franchise, should have been MVP. But, yeah it's just, like I said, 30-30 season. He drove in 109 runs. I know RBIs are only valued so much. Shout out Nakayeti, who loves that statistic more than anyone else, I think. But all around, this guy's a 5-tool player. He hits the ball really hard. He's cut down his strikeout rate, which really, really makes me happy because that was a concern I had when he came up. His walk rate has gone up too. Bobby Witt Jr. is an amazing, amazing player. Probably, entering this year, he might be a top 5 player in the league. He might be the number 1 fantasy prospect because of stolen bases. Bobby Witt Jr. is the number 1 shortstop. As much as I wanted to put Lindor number 1, Witt is amazing.
All right. I'm going to take us back to the year of our Lord 2024 when we did the same exercise. 2 out of 3 of us actually had Bobby Witt over Francisco Lindor.
Weird. Wow.
I am the only one who has maintained that position. Mac changed his position to have Witt ahead. Alex changed his position to have Lindor ahead. But I'm the only one that has kept Witt ahead of Lindor. As is my shtick on this show, I'm going to give a list. Here's a list of every shortstop to have a better WAR season than Bobby Witt did last year. Honus Wagner, Hall of Famer. Rogers Hornsby, Hall of Famer. Yes, this is a shortstop season. Arky Vaughn, literally the GOAT. Lou Boudreau, Hall of Famer. Ernie Banks, Hall of Famer. Rico Petrocelli. He's the black sheep here. Robin Yount, Hall of Famer. Cal Ripken, Hall of Famer. Alex Rodriguez, not in the Hall of Fame for reasons. That is just a truly absurd list to be on.
Healthy breakfast reasons.
Yeah. Yes, healthy breakfast reasons.
Yeah, no, he was just
and you brought up
his body in good shape.
Here are the entire list of primary shortstops to have a 10 F4 season. 1905, Honus Wagner. 1908, Honus Wagner. 1948, Lou Boudreau. 1991, Cal Ripken Jr. 2002, Alex Rodriguez. 2024, Bobby Witt Jr. This is a season that we have not been around for, even Alex and being around since the Stone Age. We have not seen. I'm sorry.
What was that shot for? Jesus. Coming from the guy with the Jesus beard over here, but
hey, man, this is a season that it just doesn't happen. Like, and Witt did that, right?
Yeah,
like he did that. He was spectacular offensively. He was spectacular defensively. He brought everything you could possibly ask to the table. He had a 30-30 season with 45 doubles. He won the Major League batting title, if you care about that. He led the majors in hits, if you care about that. He won a Gold Glove, deservingly so. He won a Silver Slugger, deservingly so. He finished second place in MVP voting in one of the most competitive seasons I can remember. Reminder, Gunnar Henderson had 9 WAR at his own position. And Bobby Witt said, here's my Silver Slugger, here's my Gold Glove. This was a player that in 2022 we could say, is he going to stick it? Is he going to stick it short? He's probably better off being a third baseman. He was split time between third and short. He had negative 22 DRS, had a bunch of errors. And then the Royals are like, nah, we're gonna let him play shortstop. He was primary shortstop in 2023, was spectacular, 7th in MVP voting. 2024, okay, you're the primary shortstop, and we're going to pay you. You're on an $11 million deal. And he was unbelievable. It was like, it is in that group of Judge 2022, Judge 2024, the Ohtani seasons, Betts in 2018, Trout couple seasons, Harper in 2015. It's one of the 10 best seasons I've seen as a baseball fan. And it's the best shortstop season I've seen as a baseball fan. And it might be the best shortstop season we see for another 25 years. It was that good of a season. And I think is a disservice to Witt if he's not number one on your list. Sorry, Alex. Lindor had a phenomenal season. Lindor had nearly a 7 WAR season. Witt tacked on 2.5 extra wins. It's just a preposterously good season.
I want to be very clear. I really was struggling between these two because you're exactly right on everything you're saying here. Bobby Witt Jr. had a season that is almost unheard of in our day and age. Like as you were saying in your list, 2024 was the season of that. Well, he had a season that we have not seen throughout the entire 2010s decade, basically. And now we're seeing him put together these incredible seasons. And I think very well that he could be number one on this list. Like I said, this was a hard list. I was actually at the gym today when I was making my list, and I was just kind of poring over while doing reps. And I kept just trying to think of more and more things for each person. And it really was hard, especially considering the fact that we take a look at some of the other lists we had, like second base, first base, and all this, and we're struggling to find a true definitive number one. We have some really good players and all that. This is one where the top two on both Mac and I's list finished second in the MVP voting. If you finish second in the MVP voting, there's a very real chance you should be number one on your positional list, because MVP is not for the position, it is for the entire league. And that's what happened here. And when you both finish second, you got to pick one over the other. And at the end of the day, right, I'm not going to fully say that I'm right, you're wrong. I'm not saying that at all. Legitimately, that's why I'm not going to say I backpedaled, but I said on it that there's a very real chance I may. And say yeah, you know what? I'll eat my words and say that Bobby Witt's better. Because honestly, I think Bobby Witt may have the better ceiling right now than Lindor has had. Lindor is an incredible player, probably going to be, honestly, very real chance of being a first ballot Hall of Famer too. But with Bobby Witt Jr., if he continues on this pace, because this dude is less than 25. We just put out a list about that. Go check out our Twitter at LAR_baseball. And
actually, that one's on our Instagram.
Yeah. Also on it. What? Yes, Instagram or no Instagram?
It is on the Instagram.
Oh, it's on the Instagram.
Yeah, it's on the Instagram.
But it's so difficult to try and put these two here because you look at Bobby Witt, how young he is, and he can continue growing stronger on this. It's going to be so interesting to watch going forward. It's also fun to think right now as well that, for the last couple of years, right? But go back a few years ago, we were talking about how weak the catcher position was. And that it just absolutely bloomed. A few years ago, we were struggling as well with shortstops because we had Trey Turner. What else? And Lindor was on that list.
Yeah, no, I think actually, now that I think about it, there was one year I had Lindor at number one, but it was Lindor and Turner. I remember we're 1A, 1B, but I have a hard time remembering who I think Seager was on there. Yeah, Seager was 5, and it was I think Bogarts was on there. Yeah, it was.
Dansby could have been a 5, I think.
Yeah, Correa was up there before he started getting hurt. It was. Yeah.
But that's my point here, right? Is that now we have
it's a new generation.
Yeah, we now have 5 people on each of our lists that are all-stars. We have 5 on each of our lists.
Hey, Francisco Lindor notably did not make the All-Star team.
Okay, you're gonna bring that up
Nonsense, but
again.
yes.
As a traded to Mets fan, I do not appreciate this slander. But no, like all of these players, legitimately, this is gonna sound kind of odd, but at the same time, I think you guys will agree with me. Every single one of the players on all of our lists here are players that you could build a franchise around. You could build a franchise around Francisco Lindor, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, Ellie De La Cruz, Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, any of these guys. You can build around them. This has now become probably the most stacked shortstop class we have seen in a while.
I think it's the best position in baseball.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of parallels to the late 90s when you had Barry Larkin with Cincinnati, Derek Jeter, Nomar Garciaparra. Just felt like a decent chunk of the league had these, Hall of Fame level shortstops. And at least for me growing up, it was Hanley Ramirez with Florida and Jimmy Rollins, 2007 NL MVP winner.
Jose Reyes.
Jose Reyes, all in the same division, by the way.
Yeah, that's the crazy
and
thing.
Troy Tulowitzki. And this is a really solid group of shortstops. And now it's like 2 of these guys had 9 WAR seasons. That is ridiculous. So
this would be like a good list maybe to do later on is take the WAR from every shortstop and see how many shortstops going from like 1 down it takes to get to 162. That would be interesting, I think.
Wait, what? I'm not following.
Like if you take say the Baseball Reference wars, right?
Sure.
From all the shortstops, right? Starting from the top of a list, like ranking wise, from the amount of most WAR, going down to see how many shortstops it takes to get to 162. The amount of a full season.
Oh, like 162 wins above replacement?
Yeah, wins above replacement. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I feel like at that point, if you did that, you would probably have the least amount of shortstops that you would have in any other position. If you were to do this like with every position, that'd be an interesting experiment. I think
that probably checks out. I don't know if like Judge having like 11 WAR, like if that changes the calculus here, but yeah, when you have like Witt had 9+ on Baseball Reference, so did Lindor, so did Henderson. Lindor had 6.7. Ellie had a bunch. Seager had 5. Betts had basically 5. I don't know, maybe. We have some questions, some rapid fire questions. This or that makes its triumphant return. Week 2. Each of us sent in 3 prompts. We sent in a player prompt, we sent a team prompt, and we sent in a non-baseball related prompt. For those in for the uninitiated, this or that.
You to say splash.
Hard for me to say that is. This is this or that. We have a choice between option A and option B. We decide option A or option B. And today we begin.
It could be an option C, by the way.
Yes. One of these does have an option C. That is unfortunately not on the docket for today.
Aw.
Maybe next week.
Okay, fair enough.
Today we begin with Mac's question. Who wins more games this season? Boston or Baltimore? Alex, we'll start with you as the American League representative. Who wins more games, the Red Sox or the Orioles?
Orioles. I think the Orioles are just such a stupidly stacked team. Like, yes, Boston added Garrett Crochet as their big ad for the offseason, but he's only going to be playing 1 out of every 5 days. And the rest of the team, don't get me wrong, they have a good team, but the AL East is such a competitive division this year that you need every advantage you can get, and I think the Orioles have enough firepower to manage in that area. All
right. Mac, you posed the question. What's your answer?
I'm going the opposite direction. I'm actually higher on the Red Sox. I'm going Boston. Because Red Sox fans have been ragging on the offseason they've had, and I think we're just like forgetting that they got Garrett Crochet and that they have a very talented offense. As long as they stay healthy, I think the Orioles lost Corbin Burns. And they picked up 2 aging starters with Charlie Morton and Tomoyuki Sugano, who's never pitched in the majors. They replaced Anthony Santander with Tyler O'Neill, which isn't bad, but like Anthony Santander hit 44 homers last year. And it's Gary Sanchez and Ramon Laureano. Right now, if I'm being completely honest, the Orioles are getting no higher than like a D in their offseason for me. So I'm going with the Red Sox here.
Well, I get to break the tie. How do I do this? How do I go about this? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm also going to agree. I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox. So FanDuel has it pegged at Orioles 88.5 wins, little juice on the over, and the Red Sox 85.5 wins, little juice on the under. So FanDuel has it about a 4-win difference. I know it's 3, but with the juice, it's really 4. On Fangraphs, the Orioles have a projected 47.5 WAR. The Red Sox have a projected 42.5 WAR. So there's about a 5 WAR gap there. But why do I make that decision? Why do I say I think the Red Sox will be better this season? It is the rotation, and it is a rotation that I liked a lot last year. I sung the praises of one Andrew Bailey. This is a rotation on Fangraphs projected to be 4th in WAR, ahead of the Mariners, Seattle. Also, that's an updated list from the last time we posted it. But regardless, Garrett Crochet, spectacular. I do have my questions if he can pitch a full season. Who knows? Brian Bayo, he's a solid pitcher. Tanner Houck, he is a solid pitcher. Walker Buehler, he has his injury concerns, but he is in theory a solid pitcher. They have Patrick Sandoval now. Cool.
Yeah, they just signed him.
He's hurt.
He's out for the year, I'm pretty sure, but yeah.
So, cool. It'd be great if they signed another guy. I don't think that's going to happen. It would be unbelievable. If they got Nick Pivetta back, I would put some money on them to win the division. But in the same vein, the Orioles are 23rd in that conversation. They have Zach Eflin. He's solid. Grayson Rodriguez. He's solid. Charlie Morton at 40 years old. What are we going to get out of him? Dean Kramer. What are you getting out of him? Sagano. What are you getting out of him? And I don't trust moving down. I think the offense is going to have to be truly spectacular for the Orioles, and it can happen. But I think Boston has their own, juggernaut of a lineup. You have Rafi Devers, you have Tristan Costas, you have Jarren Duran, and you have this young cohort of players rising through the system. Roman Anthony is the number 1 position prospect in baseball on every source. He's the number 1 prospect on every list that doesn't include Roki Sasaki. If he comes up and makes an impact, that's a part of the equation. And this is a race to me. I think they're both going to be in that upper 80s range. I would bet on the over for Boston over 85.5. Orioles, that's a pretty good number at 88.5. I don't know which way I'd lean on that, but
I think that's
I'm going to go Boston.
Fair, yeah.
I'm going to go Boston.
I will say that is still some, to borrow a phrase, that's some malarkey that their rotation is ranked above Seattle's. That is I am trying really hard not to swear on the show right now. Because I will say that makes so no sense at this point. Like, yes, okay. Garrett Crochet is a damn good, but the rest of the rotation does not hold a candle to Seattle's.
Okay. I will defend it partially because the ballpark helps the Mariners. The ERA, for example, is a third of a run lower for the Mariners compared to the Red Sox. And actually, the Mariners and Braves are expected to have the same starting pitcher ERA, 3.62. But this is another ballpark thing that, that does not exactly help.
I
understand.
If we keep going on this topic, this podcast is about to go off the rails real quick. Let's move on to the next.
This podcast is actually about to go off the rails. Mac, your second topic, this in our randomizer, this or that. Do you put onions on your cheese?
Yeah, I was hoping this came up.
Mac?
Oh my God.
I am banning you.
What?
Onions do not belong on a cheesesteak.
Oh my God.
This is an abomination to texture. What? Okay, grilled onions sometimes gets a pass, but they have to be really well cooked onions. I don't want crunch on my cheesesteaks. I want meat. Please clip that.
That's gonna be your new clip for the intro. Is I want meat.
Please clip that. When I order a Philly cheesesteak, I want meat. I want cheese. I want bread, and I want whatever sauce I apply to it, whatever I'm feeling that day. I don't want crunchy onions on my Philly cheesesteak.
I'm going to disagree here. Grilled onions are my preference. That's the thing. Is that obviously
grilled
I don't
onions
want
can be okay.
it's okay. So like I don't want like raw onions on a cheesesteak. That's just weird. I also do not put peppers on my cheesesteak.
Yes. We agree. First time ever.
Actually, people in Philly don't even like that. Like I don't know. It's the one thing I agree on. People from Philly, it's a cheesesteak is, meat, cheese, and if you want your onions. Like that's what
Grilled
it is.
onions.
And so, grilled onions in particular. If you want to throw mayo on it, whatever. But yeah, so I do get onions on my cheesesteak, but like Splash said, they do have to be very well done. If they're just like sloppily thrown on top of the steak, then it's kind of a lost cause.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex.
I'm curious if Alex.
I despise onions. So
Oh my God! Look at this guy.
All onions I despise. So you can see where my vote is.
Doesn't like eggs. Doesn't like onions.
I don't. There's a lot of food I hate.
Yeah, the eggs one is so weird to me. The onions thing, I've started to like onion like a little bit more, but they have to be cooked onion. I cannot stand raw onions. Get raw onions out of me.
Yeah, I agree on the raw onion thing.
Like if there's even a bit of onion, it's something that's all I will taste in the dish.
Yeah,
like
I'm with you.
We had a meatloaf the other day, and I was like, why does it feel like I'm just biting into a raw onion? And this was a fully cooked meatloaf, and I'm like, they're like, I could barely taste it, and I'm like, I know, I don't. So anyway,
yeah, I feel you. I can echo that sentiment that when you have a food that you don't like, it kind of overpowers the rest of the dish.
Yep,
I agree.
So, all right, and our final this or that topic. It's another non-baseball one. Would you rather play the same 5 video games for the rest of your life, or never be able to replay a game you've beaten? Courtesy of Alex. I shall start, and I do want to clarify: is this video game series or individual video games?
Individual video game.
Okay.
So like if you play it will be the show 24, right?
It's only
you would only be playing that one or never be able to play it again.
Okay. And your definition of beating a game.
For beating a game, like completing the main objectives of the game overall, whether it be like you do 100% run or completing the main story.
Okay. And how would that apply to sports games?
So like Emily Power Pros is a really good example that I want to use for this. If you beat success mode and it's like go through your MLB career or go through a full season under that and win a World Series in season mode, that counts. But you would need to do all of it. You would need to do all 3. Sports games, it's a little bit of a weird bit here, but yeah.
I think I would go with the 5 video games option. I would go MLB Power Pros 2008 because obviously, the sports games I have it'd be tough with the other ones because I wouldn't be able to update the rosters yearly. Mm-hmm. I think I would go Hitman, the modern ones, because now they're all together. Like Hitman 1, 2, and 3, they're all in the same package. I think I would go MLB Power Pros, Hitman, World of Assassinations, whatever the heck it's called. We'll go Lego Star Wars, the complete saga. And we will go. And I'll have 2 empty slots that I can
play around with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Mac. What are you thinking on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I would go with there's some games where I could literally play them like every day of my life if I wanted to. I don't know where my DS is, but if I could lock in like Pokemon Black 2 in particular, Pokemon Fire Red, one of the Mario baseball games on. Oh God, I wish I still had my GameCube.
Right.
Our GameCube stopped working when I was in like middle school.
No.
I know GameCube had my favorite games. Like
Yeah, legitimately, it is one of the best consoles ever made.
I mean, Pokemon XD, Pokemon Coliseum,
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros. Melee, Mario Kart Double Dash. Like, these are all games I could play forever. I mean, I'm sure there's some MLB The Show games I could play forever, too. Like, I don't know, MLB. I'm a fan of retro games, okay? So, yes, I think, though, I'd be able to limit myself to 5 games, and those would be the 5 games I'd play. It would just be like, when I beat Pokemon Fire Red for the first time, when I was, I don't know, 8 years old. Like, you're telling me after I beat Pokemon Fire Red, I could never play it again? That'd be just ridiculous. So, yeah, I got to go with the 5 games.
Yeah, for me, honestly, the hardest part about this was because I'm on the 5 video games train as well on this, but my only trepidation for it is that means no new Pokemon and no new MLB The Show, which sucks, but you know what? It's fine. But for me, of course, MLB Power Pro 2008, absolutely goated game of all time. Next one probably is going to be Mario Superstar Baseball. The one that's for the GameCube, not the Wii. Sorry, GameCube one is better. Next one is Pokemon Emerald, because especially with all these other ways to change up the game, it has near infinite replayability on that. Then for the last 2 games here, it's a bit odd as well, but I think I would end up probably going with I just had the game Yakuza 0. I'm actually replaying it right now, and it is one of my favorite games of all time. It is so good. And if I remember the 5th one, I'll say it soon. That's what it was, CFP 25. Yeah, because you could just be playing these franchises forever, and it is great, and I love it. So
I think I would choose NCAA 14 over CFB 25. I respect the decision, don't get me wrong. I recruiting understand. On 25 stresses me out, and I'm more familiar with 14.
That's fair. I might then change it then to college football revamped.
Good choice.
Because that's the updated way, and makes it play a lot easier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, also CFB 25 is also just a really good game.
Yeah, big fan. Well, let us know your this or that topic. We each submit 3. Maybe we can have some viewer submitted ones.
That would be fun. Yeah.
That'd be great. If you have them, let us know at LAR_baseball on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, LAR Baseball, Losses Above Replacement. Just search it up. We should have the SEO, I think, right?
I really hope so.
I hope so.
I think so.
Right.
I hope SEO.
Yeah. With that said, we have an extra special trivia segment. It is one of my more unhinged trivia.
Before you start, I need to say one thing. I am excited for this trivia because Splash has been hyping this up for over a day now. And I'm excited because the first thing you said is this trivia is unhinged.
All right.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the name game.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Today, we will be mishmashing MLB players together to form even greater players. I will give a clue corresponding to 2 or more MLB figures. The figures share a common name, similar to the examples I'm about to run through. First, an NFL example. This iconic Bears running back also won an NFL record 5 MVPs. That would be Walter Payton Manning.
What?
An NBA example.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
This State Farm point guard also has a movie rating nickname. That would be Chris Paul George. Some other ones. Angel Reese Witherspoon is a WNBA star and famous actress. Danica Patrick Mahomes is a female racing icon and 3-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. Billy Joel Embiid is a piano man and oft-injured NBA MVP. Eddie George Harrison Ford is an Ohio State Heisman, member of the Beatles, and Indiana Jones himself. Elton John Abraham Lincoln is a knighted musician, former Falcons pass rusher, and assassinated president. Christian Kirk Cousins is a Jaguars wide receiver and Falcons quarterback. Not for long. Miles Jack Nicklaus was not down during the Jags-Patriots AFC title game and is a golfer with 18 majors. LeBron James Harden is the NBA's all-time leading scorer.
I think we get it.
I have one more that's funny. Tony Parker Meadows is a French point guard and current Tigers outfielder.
All right, I think I get it now, though.
Get the topic. I am scared. This is either
This sounds fun, actually. Yeah, let's do this.
It does sound fun. It's either going to go incredibly well or incredibly poorly. There's no in between.
Who would like to go first? This is timed. It's as many as you can get in a minute. And you can pass.
I'll go first.
Okay. I'll
set the tone.
Okay. I'm going to let the time, like the live button, click around to 106 so we both know how much time you have.
I think I think I got this.
Okay. I'm excited. These were pretty fun. So I would like it to be as clear as possible. The like operative word, like the switch word is going to be like also or was or had. I would like there to be some break so it's easy to like part A, part B, you know? Right. Okay. You got 10 more seconds. Hype yourself up.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Numero uno. This Hall of Fame shortstop was traded for Chris Sale.
Wait, what? Hall of Fame shortstop was traded for Chris Sale?
This Hall of Fame shortstop was traded for Chris Sale.
Archie Vaughn something. Archie Vaughn Grissom?
Yes.
Okay.
This former Pirates utility man had a 56-game hitting streak.
Connor Joe DiMaggio?
Yes. This Astros slugger saved over 400 games.
What? Pass.
You can pass. This Hall of Fame second baseman finished fourth in 2005 NL MVP voting.
Joe Morgan Ensberg.
Yes. This is 3 players. While he didn't win 11 rings with the Celtics, this superlative framing catcher won the 2023 World Series.
Jonah Heim? What?
No. And I'll give you one more. This Brave slugger is also a Tigers All-Star.
Braves? You saying like active slugger?
Yes, active. Yes, active. Or unless I say former or retired, it implies they're active.
I feel like I should have gotten that, but I got nothing there.
Okay. So to recap,
I got 3,
this Astros slugger saved over 400 games. That's Carlos Lee Smith. That's former Astros. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
And then the Celtics one framing catcher. That is Bill Russell Martin Perez.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I knew. So I had a feeling that it was definitely something like Russell something. I couldn't think of the last name. Like,
yeah,
because I knew Russell Martin would have been like the logical answer there, but I was like, who could that be? Yeah.
This Brave slugger is also Tigers All-Star. That's Austin Riley Green.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Yep. All right.
Alex.
I am. What the hell did I just listen to? Oh my!
You're gonna do great.
I want you to know I saw my own like reaction in the thing. I just clipped it. So if we need to, we could post that with a podcast because that would be a great thumbnail.
Okay. So Mac had 3 points.
Yeah.
Alex.
If I get 1, I will be proud.
Okay. Got 15 seconds to breathe. We're going to start at 109.
Okay.
I'm really happy with how this turned out.
Yeah, like this is stupidly clever. I'm just also scared. Here we go.
Yes. This gambler also hit 424 with the Cardinals.
Oh my gosh.
You can pass.
Pass, yeah.
This Blue Jays Cy Young winner was also a 2-time All-Star with the White Sox.
Pass.
This last member of the 400 Club in the National League has returned as a manager this season.
Pass.
This former Rangers closer was also the ace of the World Series winning Rangers squad.
Okay. Think about that one for a sec. Can you please reread that one?
This former Rangers closer was also the ace of the World Series winning Rangers squad.
Pass.
This part-time knuckleballer manned center field for both Twins World Series.
Pass.
This 14-team journeyman is also the son of a Rockies legend.
Pass. I don't know.
Man,
right, I'll give you one more. This 2000 NL MVP did, in fact, pull a Brave off the first base bag in the 1991 World Series.
Pass. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
One of these you're gonna kick yourself. The other ones,
what I can't believe is that he got the easier ones. I feel like he got the easier ones.
Trying to put everything together, I was like, no, I got nothing here.
Okay. I'll recap. This gambler also hit 424 with the Cardinals.
Kenny Rogers, Hornsby.
Yes.
Oh my god!
This Blue Jays Cy Young winner was also a two-time All-Star with the White Sox. This one's a tough one. This is Robbie Ray Durham.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
oh my gosh! To be honest, the only name that could come to my mind was Roy Halladay.
Yeah, same.
Fair enough. This last member of the 400 Club in the National League has returned as a manager this season. That's Bill Terry Francona.
Wait,
what? Who's?
Oh, National League 400 Club.
Yes.
Okay.
I
don't even know who Bill Terry is.
This former Rangers closer was also the ace of the World Series winning Rangers squad.
So I was trying to remember that. Oh my god, is that Joe Nathan Eovaldi?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was trying to remember who was the
Montgomery?
ace of it, and I could not remember Nate Eovaldi until we were talking here.
I forgot Jordan Montgomery was a person. My apologies. You're going to kick yourself for this one, Alex. This part-time knuckleballer manned center field for both Twins World Series.
Okay. Part-time knuckleballer. That
he famously threw a knuckleball for the first pitch of a game.
Oh my gosh, it's George Kirby Puckett.
Yes,
George Kirby Puckett. That was the one that I thought you would have gotten.
When you said a part-time knuckleballer, the only name I could come up with was R.A. Dickey and Phil Niekro.
Okay. This 2000 NL MVP, Survivor legend, did in fact pull a Brave off the first base bag in the World Series. That's Jeff Kent
Herbeck. Yeah.
And this 14-team journeyman is also the son of a Rockies legend. That's Edwin Jackson Holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, the only name that was coming to my head was Rich Hill.
Okay.
Rich Hill, I think, is at 13 teams.
Yeah. And he's
getting up there, though.
6 or 7 times.
Rich Hill, Dick Mountain. Great.
All right. I have 2 more for fun. This 2-time American League MVP is also a former Mets backstop.
Wait, what?
This 2-time American League MVP is also a former Mets backstop. That'd be Frank Tomasnito.
Duh.
Oh my god.
I particularly like this clue. This 9-time Gold Glove center fielder won't be getting Christmas cards from Bryce Harper.
Oh,
Torrey Hunter Strickland.
Yeah.
Torrey Hunter Strickland. Yeah, that's a good one. That's clever. I like that.
That's a good one. I like that.
This all dessert team nominee is also a Hall of Fame third baseman.
All dessert team. Like his name is a dessert?
Yes.
I'm trying to think. Is Felix PA one of them?
Yes. Go.
Yes. Who's the Hall of Fame?
I know the answer. Felix PA Trainer.
Yes.
Who's PA Trainer?
Felix Pie Trainer.
Yeah, Pie Trainer.
I actually don't know who that is.
Okay. And
I'm glad I got Felix PA though.
Yes. Fair. And then my favorite one. This is 4 players. This Orioles Cy Young Award winner also plays outfield for the Nationals and allowed 5 unearned runs in Game 5 of the 2024 World Series after winning 2008 World Series MVP.
Wait, repeat that again. Orioles Cy Young winner?
Yeah, 4 players. This Orioles Cy Young Award winner also plays outfield for the Nationals and allowed 5 earned runs in Game 5 of the World Series for 2024 World Series after winning 2008 World Series MVP.
I think I got this. Steve, Stone, Garrett, Cole Hamels.
Yes, Steve Stone, Garrett, Cole Hamels.
Okay. I knew it was something crazy like that.
I
think that's the longest chain I was able to. I think that's probably not the longest chain one can create, but that's as long as I could get without frying my brain.
Yeah, I appreciate the Bill Terry one. My dad, it came up the other day. I forget who we were talking to, but Bill Terry was one of my grandfather's favorite players. That's part of the reason why my grandfather grew up a Giants fan in Brooklyn was because of Bill Terry and Mel Ott.
Okay, and one parting shot. This pouting Dodgers legend also played for every AL East team.
Joe Kelly Johnson.
Yes.
The pouty shot was funny. Yes.
That'll wrap us up for trivia. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope the audience enjoyed that one. I had a fun time creating that walking home from work the other morning.
Let's do that again sometime. I got the hang of it more as we went on. I had slow reaction time.
Must be nice, huh? Gosh, I feel embarrassed because I love those kinds of clues, like when they're like on Jeopardy and stuff like that, or the before and afters on Wheel of Fortune. But when you put it in that context, it is so difficult trying to think, because now you're trying to put both 2 and 2 together, and it does not equal 4.
Yeah, it's all about getting that one common name. Like, if you can get, like, Robbie Ray, for example, if you can pull Robbie Ray, you can, like,
you can call it Ray Durham, yeah.
Yeah, I would have accepted several players with the first name Ray, frankly, although it was specifically Ray Durham, so... With that said, Patrick Waugh Campanella. Oh, Tim Patrick Waugh Campanella. Bang.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's a Colorado sports icon. Roy Campanella definitely didn't play with the Colorado Rockies.
No, I was going to say, yeah.
Anyways, that'll bring us to our final segment. That is our time to ourselves. I would like to go first if there are no bombs.
Go for it, Matt.
All right, count me down.
It.
All right, your time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
This is a bold statement. I have found someone worse than like terrorists. It's called people that get on the elevator before letting people off. How on God's green earth do you not have the patience to wait half a second to just see if someone's on the elevator moving out of the elevator? I cannot believe how many times this week idiots have stood like right on the precipice of getting on the elevator, right on the threshold, and the door opens and I'm trying to get off and they're like, they get on the elevator before I get off the elevator. I cannot fathom that. I'm sure Mac has his opinions as a subway enthusiast, but it is preposterous. Bro, chill out. It takes 2 seconds. The elevator will not move faster if you get on it faster. Unless you're like spamming the hold button door or the close button door, but then you're a loser if you do that. By the way, there are elderly people in this apartment. They probably want to get on the elevator. It is I hope you crave Chick-fil-A on Sundays. I hope when you go to the bathroom, you poop your pants before you get to the toilet and you soil all your garments. I hope you crave food after DoorDash ends and you can't buy food. I hope your grocery store closes when you're pulling into the parking lot. I hope you have the worst day if you are one of the idiots that tries to get on the elevator before you let people off.
I feel the same way about people who try to like I said, New York thing. Number one rule of subway etiquette is let the people off first. They don't do that very often.
Yeah, no, I understand the anger. At the same time, the quote of "I found someone worse than terrorists" is one that is going to be in the LAR Hall of Fame, as well as something that I put in the group chat that I will not be repeating. So, with that being said,
our intro next week is going to be total chaos.
It is going to be incredible. Mac, I need you during your time to say something completely wild so we could just have a brand new intro that just goes way too hard.
I'll try my best.
All right.
He's
If
gonna
you're
like talk
okay,
about his cats or something.
Alex, you can go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go next. Someone give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
So I watched the Royal Rumble over the weekend, and I'm going to give you a brief moment to pause if you have not watched it and you don't want spoilers. Here, go back to when you'll know it's safe to come back when my it's no longer just on my frame. But oh my god, the Royal Rumble was incredible. That show from basically from top to bottom was incredible. The women's Rumble was good. Here the excuse me, the tag team match here with the return of the Street Profits was awesome. Oh my god, the championship match between Kevin and Cody like had me legitimately fearing for both of their lives. That Alabama slam through the ladder was insane, but the men's Rumble, oh my god, that 1.5 or so hour time between was some of the most emotion that I have felt in years from the winner of the Rumble. Again, it's now just you. It was congrats, Jay. Honestly, I was shocked when Jay won it, but at the same time, like after thinking about it for a minute, I am so happy that this man is so unbelievably over, and he deserves all the praise in the world here. But on top of it, from it being Jey Uso and John Cena as the final two, absolutely, that was cinema there. And then the one thing I wanted, Joe Hendry being in the Rumble, and I got it. I was so hyped. Oh my gosh, I was watching it with my family, and I think I screamed for the first time in months. I screamed hearing say his name and he appears. I was so happy. I felt so vindicated as a human being at that one moment. I felt so happy to be a wrestling fan. Even wearing my CM Punk shirt, I still think he should have won. But you know what? I'm so happy that Jay did it as well. The Royal Rumble, go and watch it. Legitimately, if you have Netflix or Peacock, just go and watch it. It's worth your time.
Yeah. As I was saying before the show, my friend flew from Baltimore to Indianapolis for the day, literally just to go to the Royal Rumble. So, and I hear it was insane in person.
Oh my god. That show was incredible. And also one other thing I will say on this, go and watch, if you're not a wrestling fan, go and watch Cody versus Kevin Owens ladder match for the undisputed WWE championship. If you want to see brutality that is done in such a way that you honestly forget that it's a performance, go and watch that match. The last few minutes of it are scary to watch, but it's so incredible, especially with the fact that you know that everyone is okay. So, go.
Fascinating. All right, Mac, it is your time, my friend.
All right, someone count me down.
All right, your time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
All right, yeah, I couldn't go this show without talking about the Luka Doncic trade because, I'm at a loss for words, really. I'm not a Mavericks fan or a Lakers fan. My brother and his wife are both Lakers fans, so obviously they have plenty of thoughts. But Nico Harrison, I want to know the thought process here. You know, what this reminds me of is, there's the Family Guy meme where everyone on Spooner Street is getting a boat. They all get something in the mail that they want a free boat. And they go and, the guy says, well, you could have the boat or you could have the mystery box. And, Lois really wants just the boat. And Peter goes, well, hey, hang on, Lois. A boat is a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be another boat. That's what I think the thought process is here. All right. You're like, you could have Luka Doncic, but for some reason we want the trade package, which could even be another Luka Doncic. No, it doesn't make any sense here, man. You are trading, this is like, we were talking about Bobby Witt. It's like if you trade Bobby Witt for, Mike Trout when he's getting hurt every single year, not prime Mike Trout, like current Mike Trout, the one that gets hurt every single year and is going to be 34 this year. It just does not make any sense here. The Mavericks, I guess you're bailing. I mean, by all means, if you think you're bailing, then why are there rumors that you're going to go after LeBron James this offseason? I mean, that's like, say like, the Mets had traded Francisco Lindor and all of a sudden, but like, okay, we're going to trade Lindor, but we're also going to try to sign Juan Soto this offseason or sign an older player, but the thought process here is baffling. It's the first time I've ever been like legitimately stunned by a move in sports ever, because I have no conscious memory of A-Rod getting traded. I guess you could say Nico Harrison was like Peter Griffin in this scenario. I can't believe it. Maybe I don't know if Peter Griffin would even trade Luka Doncic, if I'm being honest. So, those are my 2 cents there. If you're a Lakers fan, congrats, I guess. If you're a Mavs fan, I am so sorry for you. I saw you guys protesting outside the arena and saying all sorts of things about your team's owner. So, yeah.
I saw there was a quote that was brought back after the trade was made, where it was from what's his name? The owner, Mark
Cuban.
Mark Cuban, yeah.
He's not the full owner anymore. Just he would not have made this move.
Yeah. Not the full owner anymore. But he had a quote that said, "If I had to choose between trading away Luka Doncic and staying married to my wife, I would be at the courthouse signing divorce papers." Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that has aged horribly now.
Yeah.
My favorite is Ryan Russillo on the Bill Simmons podcast, like right after the trade. He didn't care if Luka was ripping cigarettes walking down the court. You don't trade Luka Doncic. I agree with him. I get from Dallas's perspective, I take a smidge of it, right? A smidge that it's the defense wins championships. Luka weighs 700 pounds. You don't know if you want to give him $350 million next offseason. Okay. And I can defend them for not like shopping him, because the only teams that would have offered a defense first package on par with Luka that you can win now in air quotes, Anthony Davis and the Lakers, and Giannis and the Bucks. And Giannis is a little bit better than Anthony Davis, but the Bucks could argue that Giannis is a better player than Luka, a player you'd rather have than Luka. Whatever the argument is, you would have to pay more for. This is a baffling trade. This is the first time in NBA history 2 reigning All-NBA players were traded for each other during the season. That is a wild stat. And like you mentioned, A-Rod. At least the Rangers sucked.
Yeah, the Rangers were terrible, and A-Rod wanted out of Texas. That's the difference.
Like, this is a logical trade from that standpoint.
Yeah.
The Mavs just made the finals, and the Mavs are like in a play-in spot now. This is a baffling. Obviously, I wasn't around for like the Gretzky trade. This is the most shocking sports trade since at least the Gretzky trade, and more in tune NBA fans than I have said this is the most shocking move in the last 60 years, perhaps in NBA history, given the Mavs went to the finals last season. It's in the middle of the season, and there were no leaks. There was no trade. Like Jimmy Butler has been every rumor known to man. Kevin Durant's in every
now.
LeBron freaking James is in every trade rumor right now. Like, oh, is he going to be a Warrior? He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Luka.
I didn't hear anything about Luka. Yeah,
I don't think anyone did. Yeah.
That will wrap us up for an extra long episode of Bosses Above Replacement. I'm Splash at Mr. Splashman19 on the Bird app. We were joined by Mac at Mathias _A_K on the Bird app, and joined by Alex at the Sports Guy 242 on the Bird app. You can follow more of what we do at Bosses Above Replacement wherever your podcasts are found. Please drop a 5-star review. If you don't like the podcast, just let it play in the background while you clean your toilet. Don't give us a review. Just let it play. Thanks for the watch time. We appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, like it, comment.
Subscribe.
Do you like doing laundry in the morning or in the evening? That's the question for you. I don't have an answer. I don't know. My grandmother decides when I do laundry. You can follow us on Twitter at LAR_baseball. You can follow us on Instagram. We've been posting every day on Instagram at LAR_baseball. And with that, Spencer Schwellenbach will win the 2025 National League Cy Young Award. Toodles.
Yeet!